Good evening. My name is Gwendolyn Joy, and this is week 4, and we are discussing vaccine longevity. Here are my notes. My notes. Jumping right in. So question 1 is why is the durability of vaccine-induced protection a critical issue in vaccine research? And COVID-19, pretty easy to pick on, but it caused a lot of people to question, besides researchers, but it caused a lot of people to question vaccine durability. It just huge concern outbreak from everyone. People were, because the virus actually mutated and there's new versions of it, it caused another mass outbreak in general of the coronavirus, leading into CARDS, which was the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, which just failed in preventing a longevity protection. So just being able to find or make and create vaccines for longevity, as well as just being able to get vaccines out there that people feel safe of it taking, besides feeling like, okay, hey, this is something that we, 1, need, 2, it's good for the community, and so have you. Going into question 2, what are some key factors of influence? And some key factors that influence are for researchers, they have to find and know the nature of the pathogen. So you need to know kind of what is it created of, what it causes, and then the biology of the vaccine. So, okay, we know this. What does this vaccine need to be made out of? How does it affect people? How is this going to affect the vaccine? Is it safe? What ages should we give this to, not give this to? And then also the vaccine schedule. So we need to know how long is this going to be? How long does this vaccine last? What areas do we need to get to first? Like, is it more prompt in one location of the world or area, as well as, okay, are we going to need different variants of just getting out sooner? Again, just like when, where, how type of ordeal. Question number 3, we're just comparing the live antidoted versus the inactive vaccines. And live, just like in the word, there's going to be a dose of the infectious disease that will go into your body, but it's a weakened version, so you're not getting a full dose. So when we're getting the boosters, you weren't getting a full dose of COVID, but you get a small dose that your body kind of will then learn how to fight, basically. And sorry, I'm just going back into my notes. But it doesn't cause severe illnesses. So your body, you'll get a little sick. You will get sick because, again, you are injecting the virus into yourself, or the bacteria, or whatever it was in the vaccine. You inject that into your body. You're probably going to have to fight it off, get a little sick, but it's building that immunity for that. Versus how the inactivated vaccines, you're getting the killed version. So it's very easy. It's easier for those that, or it's basically to take a place for those that have an autoimmunity disease or autoimmunity. They will take this version of the vaccine. And again, it contains a pathogen, a bacteria or virus that has been created, and then, but that vaccine, it can't replicate. So even though it's still being introduced, it's not killed. So it's more in a uniformed variant. So again, your body it will react, but for those, again, that have an autoimmune immunity, it won't harm them as horrible as active. Just again, because some viruses change over time, so some you'll have to go back into and then create more of, because the viruses can mutate, things like that. Having the longevity of the live is actually better, just because, again, the virus is already within your body, so your body has learned how to fight the virus off. Just because of the mutant, getting a booster, so you won't have to get more that much more injected to you, but it at least will allow your body to have a chance versus not. Going into question 4, the table 1 actually does show how the vaccine type, which then correlates to the protection, which then goes into efficiency, and then that goes into the estimated duration of protection, which then divvies between clinical entity and duration of the protection. And within the correlate of protection and the efficiencies, those two parts of the table actually show the numbers, and the kill off of that vaccine. Going into question 5, the vaccination schedules. Question 5 is, how does the vaccine longevity affect public health strategies? And from regards to boosters, outbreak prevention, and the herd of the community. Just to start off, again, COVID-19, she's really easy to pick on because there was such a need for this vaccine, so it was rapidly produced with multiple different types, but there was a limited amount, and because there was a limited amount, people ran out, which then again caused another outbreak because some people were vaccinated, so they got into it, but then there became a mutated version, so then those people that were vaccinated weren't fully prepared and ready for the mutated version, but those that had never received a vaccine to begin with just kind of got it really hard. And then there was this big, huge kerfuffle of what age group, was more at risk. So some people were, again, there would be a surplus amount of people at certain ages that had it, and they were either already on their second or third dose, and there would be people that were just a couple, that were younger or older that never even got a dose because in their area it was gone. So the vaccinated schedules for long longevity immunity, that equals the fewer the dosage. So the fewer dosage needed, the better, because then people could get out and be able to fight off the bacterium, virus, whatever it may be, the pathogen. So be able to fight off the pathogen because you're already dosed and you have a long-lasting dose. You don't have to worry about the risk as much. There's still risk regardless. Just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you're immune completely. But that isn't the case for all vaccines. And then just building off of that, so with the fewer dosage, that then simplifies the vaccine schedule because you don't have to worry about getting out. We know that it's yearly uptake. You just kind of know, hey, people come into here and we'll be able to get it. So it makes it easier for different populations and areas for people to be able to go out and get it and to retake this. Going into part B for this, it says, I'm exploring more of the activities and do I support or argument against just the need if it's a limited durability. Personally, I do believe at young ages, people should be introduced to those pathogens because they need to build their immunity. They need to be able to go out into the world. The sicker you are, let's be real, as kids, 9 times out of 10, there's a kid sick at a school. Like, there's always at least one in every class. There's going to be a sick person. But in order to be able to build your immunity, you need to be able to take and getting sick. And sometimes in order to get those, you have to be vaccinated to help build your immunity. But after a certain age, I don't think that you should be required to have vaccines, just because, again, going back into COVID, the older community were some of the highest at risk, and I don't think that people at certain ages, so people would rather give an 80-year-old a vaccine who has lived longer life, and they have lived life, versus a 4 or 5-year-old who has not lived and this is still killing people. So I don't think just because, hey, you need to have this vaccine, it's just not good. And reading the article Culture Perspectives on Vaccination, it actually was saying how we do use vaccines and laws to say, hey, you need these vaccines, but then we don't have it. I don't think it's right to tell people what to do with their bodies in order to participate in something. That's not up to the world. And, you know, I feel like, again, it's one of those things, you're going to be sick regardless at some point. As a kid, they're always sick. So if you got a vaccine, if you didn't get the vaccine, you will be sick. As an old lady, if you got something or you didn't get something, again, you're just going to be sick. So the more frequent you're out in the world, the more likely you are to be sick. And the less that you're in your, the more you frequent out, the less likely you are to be sick, because you're building that autoimmune by you're touching all this different biofilms, and there's just different things that your body is getting used to, versus if you stay in your house and then you go out ever so often, you're just not going to be sick. And I am very much over the limit. So I hope you will have a great one, and I'll see you next week. Bye.